लागे महारानी लागे, माने प्यारो प्यारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे, मीठे रस से दरियाई राधा रानी लागे महारानी लागे, माने कारो कारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे, माने कारो कारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे। खाना नित मुरली में तेरे सुमिरे बारंबार, खाना नित मुरली में तेरे सुमिरे बारंबार, कोटिन रूप धरे मनमोहन कहु ना पावे पार, कोटिन रूप धरे मनमोहन कहु ना पावे पार, रूप रंग की छबीली जय हो, रूप रंग की छबीली पटरानी लागे महारानी लागे, माने प्यारो प्यारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे, मीठे रस से बरियोरी राधा रानी लागे महारानी लागे, माने कारो कारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे, माने कारो कारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे। ना भावे मनु माखन मिसरी अब ना कोई मिठाई, ना भावे मनु माखन मिसरी अब ना कोई मिठाई, मारी जी भरिया ने भावे राधा नाम मलाई, मारी जी भरिया ने भावे राधा नाम मलाई, वृषभानु की ललितो जय हो, वृषभानु की ललितो गुणधानी लागे महारानी लागे, माने प्यारो प्यारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे, मीठे रस से बरियोरी राधा रानी लागे महारानी लागे, माने कारो कारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे, माने कारो कारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे। राधा राधा नाम रटतु है जो नर आतो याम, राधा राधा नाम रटतु है जो नर आतो याम, जिनकी बाधा दूर करते हैं राधा जी लो नाम, जिनकी बाधा दूर करते हैं राधा जी लो नाम, राधा नाम में सफल जय हो, राधा नाम में सफल जिंदगानी लागे महारानी लागे, माने प्यारो प्यारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे, मीठे रस से बरियोरी राधा रानी लागे महारानी लागे, माने कारो कारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे, माने कारो कारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे, मीठे रस से बरियोरी राधा रानी लागे महारानी लागे, माने प्यारो प्यारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे, माने प्यारो प्यारो यमुना जी नो पानी लागे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण माता जी, थैंक यू माता जी।
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the Kirtan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna माता जी।
Let's begin with our prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanuste Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are doing chapter 12. The rest of chapter 12 we'll do now. Before we begin, let's pay our obeisances to Sri Radha Govinda and Srila Prabhupada. So, summary of chapter 12 again. So, in the first 7 chapters, so this is the subject matter that is discussed: Bhakti over impersonalism. Because Arjuna is asking this question, Krishna. He is asking him a question about impersonalism and impersonalists and personalists. So Krishna has to differentiate between them. And he says devotional service is the highest of all spiritual paths. Then he also talks about progressive stages of devotion from highest to lowest. He starts from Ananya Bhakti, then he says, if you cannot do this, this. So from 8 to 12, you can learn that. From 13 to 12, 20, qualities that endear one to Krishna. Qualities of great devotees. How do you know if a person is a great devotee? By their qualities. They'll start manifesting some qualities: non-enviousness, humility. A big list is there. Krishna himself is mentioning. So they possess all these glorious qualities. That's why they become dear to Krishna. Mataji, will you recite this one, Mataji? Anjali Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Anyone
Mataji.
else? Yes. Anyone else wants to recite also? Please raise your hand. Hare Krishna, please. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mai stiram abhyasa yogena tato mama ichhaptu dhananjaya. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So in the material existence, our senses are always impure because we're always engaging in sense gratification. So with the practice of Bhakti Yoga, our senses can get purified. They become purified. In that purified state, we actually directly come in touch with the Supreme Lord. So a pure devotee, Ananya Bhakta, is completely in love with Krishna. His devotion is pure. It's very natural for him to be in love with Krishna. Is like very natural. There is no need to make an endeavor to remember Krishna or think about him. Nothing. It is very natural for him. He says, if that is not, happening with you, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then do one thing. You can follow the regulated principles of Bhakti Yoga. So he's telling that. Now let's see next. Here it is just a summary. Follow regulative principles of sadhana bhakti. If one cannot perform devotional service, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga and you'll develop a desire to attain me. By following that, externally, whatever we follow, whatever the spiritual master says, by following the rules, we slowly internalize it. So there comes a point when we naturally, start developing higher taste and we cannot stay without devotional service. So those who have not developed attachment for Krishna, how to achieve the stage of pure love? Practice devotional service with present senses. How to follow regulations of devotional service? Guidelines of Guru. Guru will tell whatever he says, we just do it, then everything will be perfect. Qualifications to practice. Anyone can practice. Okay, Krishna is very merciful. He wants all of us. He wants to reclaim all of us. The love for Krishna is already there in our heart. It is just dormant. So a Guru will rekindle that. Only he can do it because he himself is on that stage, transcendental platform. So guarantee of success. There is guarantee of success because a spiritual master coming in the bona fide parampara system can actually do that. There is surety of love of Godhead. So what is the destination of someone who cannot do Ananya Bhakti? So Krishna is adjusting. He says to sadhana bhakti. In this material world, we are constantly serving someone. Okay, we constantly serve, whether it's children, husband, parents. We go to office, we serve our boss, but we are not serving our boss out of love. There is no loving exchange over there. It's all because of money. We work, the boss pays, because of him we get some money home. And then that service has nothing to do with, there's no question of love at all in the office, right? It's all business. So here, when you are serving Krishna in that Ananya Bhakti platform, it is very, very natural. Why are we taking, just like Prabhupada says, he gives an example of a mother. Mother takes care of the baby. In the middle of the night also, she might have to get up 5 times. If the child is not well, she may not sleep, not eat, but she'll take care of the child. She can think about the child anytime. It is not an extra effort for her. So her affection for the child is very natural. So it is that natural for an Ananya Bhakta. So natural love for Krishna is rekindled in that stage. Then again, what is sadhana bhakti? The Guru will say, chant on the beats, follow a lot of discipline, wake up early, take a bath, eat sattvic food. I mean, whatever is offered to Krishna, eat that. And then all the regulations, regulative principles are there. You have to follow that. You have to be very clean, externally also clean, internally also clean. And then, offer flowers to the deity, cook prasadam, a lot of work, And then in Krishna consciousness, there is also propagating the Lord's message. So there is so much work. When we do all this, what happens? Our senses become purified. And this is all happening because we are practicing sadhana bhakti. Now what will happen to a person who does not do that? He doesn't want to do that also. So what will happen? Mataji, please recite Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. अभ्यासेऽप्य असमर्थोऽसि मत् कर्म परमो भव मत् अर्थम अपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So he's saying work for me, Nishkama Karma Yoga. So then he'll attain the perfectional stage slowly. See, there are so many Vaishnavas in this, and Prabhupada has told us there are 4 bona fide parampara systems. Like that, in Krishna consciousness itself, you see so many Vaishnavas trying to, engage in propagation of Krishna consciousness. They require a lot of help. It could be in any service that is, we can offer in the temple, or anyway in like publication of books, or it could be some kind of manual labor, like how this person is performing. It could some organization, some admin work, or if you can donate something, that is fine too, because they need place, land is required, capital is required. There are various ways we can contribute. So that way we can still engage in Krishna service. Nishkama Karma Yoga. It's like the activity is for Krishna and the result is also Krishna. We just don't want anything. That is called Nishkama Karma Yoga. Only difference is in material work, we are looking for sense gratification. What am I going to gain out of this work? But when it is done for Krishna, we are more, our attitude is such that we are performing this for the satisfaction of Krishna. We just want to serve him. Like Yashoda Maya is like one extreme example, because she was very, she was a pure devotee. She just wanted to serve Krishna, feed him, bathe him, dress him. She personally took so much time out of her, 24 hours just thinking about Krishna every second. When he was sleeping, she was churning butter. In this Damodar month, we read that Leela so much. We hear about that Leela so much. Even while churning butter, she kept on singing about her son only. She kept on glorifying his activities, his beautiful eyes, beautiful face, and the way she was churning her bangles and everything, they were also making new. So it is so natural for her. So it's like that. So that is the difference. Working for Krishna and working for material activities. Now, perform devotional service. If you cannot, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. If you cannot, then work for Krishna. Then how to perform work for Krishna? Sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna consciousness movement. Every endeavor needs land, capital, organization, labor, like in any other business. We can help build a temple, help in publication, etc. If one cannot sacrifice results or activities, at least sacrifice some percentage of the results. It's like Sakama Karma Yoga. It's like Nishkama Karma Yoga is like when you do the activity, you don't want anything. it's all for Krishna. When Sakama Karma, what is happening? Sakama Karma Yoga. The moment we say yoga, it is in connection with the Lord only. So there is some interest, you're doing something, you want something. Like I told you that rough example of a flower seller. If he's selling everyone flowers for 10 rupees per kg, just an example, to the temple he may give it for much lesser price. He's still getting something in return, but it is, it's like a huge discount he's giving. So it's like that. So offering something, but still he's getting. Nishkam Karma is different, where activities for Krishna. Fruits are for Krishna. Please recite this one, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
अथैतदप्य अशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मदयोगम् आश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मनम्. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness, then try to add giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So what happens? Sometimes a person is unable to even sympathize with the activities of Krishna consciousness movement. Sometimes they are not able to help at all because of some pressure from family side or some religious consideration or some other obstacle is bothering them, something or the other. But in spite of that, they can do a little. And even if they don't know the result, the sacrifice of these activities for Krishna, they may not be doing with that consciousness. In spite of that, they will reap some benefits because any work done for Krishna has eternal benefits. So even if we cannot give it to Krishna, Krishna says, if you cannot do this, okay, fine, at least give, at least give, do some charity. Because even in Varnashrama system, the householders had to give some charity. It was a duty. It's a duty mentioned. So because they earn money, they have money, they're taking care of family, and they sometimes have to give charity. And if someone does not give, he'll become very hard-hearted. That's not a good thing. And then like people who do community service, social service, national service, whatever, they're building hospitals or donating, clothes and food, whatever, they also will slowly reach us because at least they're giving something, right? They're giving something that belongs to them. So slowly they will climb the ladder and reach a stage where it will reach Kama Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga. And then they'll develop that love for Krishna. It will happen one day. At least they're on the right direction. So it's very, very important because all these activities will purify our mind. Let's go on. Again, giving up the results of perform. Again, this chart has come. Okay, work for Krishna. If you cannot work for Krishna, try to give up all results of your work and be self-situated. And then it says, reason why one may be unable to sympathize for Krishna conscious act can be social, familial, religious considerations or any other impediments. Hence, giving up results of work, recommendation, sacrifice accumulated results to some good cause, any good cause. How that helps? One may gradually elevate to the state of knowledge. Practical examples like, we just discussed. Community service, national service, all this. Educational institutions, people are building all that. They're building anath ashrams. So what happens is slowly they purify their mind and gradually they'll understand Krishna consciousness one day. In Rupa Goswami's case, when he took sannyasa, he gave up 50% in charity of whatever he had. He had a cart, a boat full of gold coins. 50% he gave in charity, 25% for his family use, and 25% he kept for emergency. So we are actually advised to take the direct method of Krishna consciousness, devotional service, and surrender to the Lord. And that's how we will benefit. But here Krishna is giving us all this, and Arjuna actually is already a devotee of the Lord. These are just information for our sake. He's already on the direct path. So, but Krishna is very adjusting. He wants to reclaim all of us. He doesn't want to force, you can't force someone to love you. It is not going to happen. Falling in love with it has to happen very naturally. Loving Krishna should happen very naturally. So that's why Rupa Goswami and all these elevated devotees are showing us how to get there. So when we chant, the Krishna himself incarnates in the Nama Rupa. So his name is very potent. So it will have its effects. We must chant. In one of the Prabhupada's books, it is mentioned. You see, the moment you take Krishna's name, it is like the lion, when it roars, all these little animals just fled. They just move away because the lion roars, they are all scared, right? They just clear the way. It's like that. When we take Krishna's name, all the anarthas in our heart, they'll just fly away. They will just vanish. They can't stay together. Like how the demons were all killed, like that. The Lord's name is like that. It will help us. So Krishna
Hare
himself
Krishna.
takes it. Yes, Mataji, please.
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभ्यासज ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्म फल त्यागात् Shaktira Anantaram. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So those who are actually not able to follow the principles mentioned so far, it is better to cultivate knowledge, because by cultivating knowledge, see, they're studying the scriptures, discussing and all this philosophy and all that, what will happen? They'll be able to understand their real position. Who are they? Who are we actually? We are all spirit souls. This is all matter. We have to give up this body and take another body, or if we are very fortunate, reach the spiritual world. So gradually, this knowledge will develop to a point of meditation, and meditation will help us to understand the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead. It is a gradual process, but at least they are cultivating knowledge by reading scriptures, all this. So he's telling do that. So when he is not able to meditate in such a way, there are prescribed duties mentioned in Vedas. So according to that, they'll have to perform some sacrifices, austerity, charity, and all this. So there is something, like that in Brahmana, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras. In Bhagavad Gita, so many verses it is said that they have to employ the result of their karma, like whatever it is, the fruit of their activities in some good cause. It is all mentioned in Vedas, and people are following that also. Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, that is why I said it's so flowery. The language is so flowery that people get attached to that and they don't see the big picture. It's like you do this, you perform this charity, you perform this sacrifice, then you'll go to higher planets. That is their understanding. So they do some charity, they do something, but everybody has rules to follow. According to that, they follow. So if they cannot become Ananya Bhakta, they're at least somewhere on that ladder. Okay. So one is a gradual process, the other one is direct. The indirect process, Krishna is not recommending. It is not recommended for Arjuna also. Okay, let's go on over this quickly. Cultivation of knowledge, meditation, and renunciation of fruits. Mind fixed on Krishna. Follow regulative principles of sadhana bhakti. If you can't do that, work for Krishna. Then give up results of your work if you can't do that. And then if you cannot engage yourself in working for Krishna, what do? Cultivate knowledge. Brahma Jnana, knowledge of soul. Result of knowledge, one understands his real position. We'll understand our constitutional position. Knowledge will develop to meditation. Then one can gradually understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Renouncing fruits is better than meditation. Why renunciation is better? Mentioned as better than meditation. Although Karma Yoga is the lowest on the yoga ladder, Krishna says that it is better than meditation because it is more practical and it does not disturb the mind with harsh and impractical requirements for renunciation. It's very practical, right? Doing something like that. Progressive stages of devotion again. Topmost stage, mind fixed on Krishna, follow regulative principles. What will happen? Result is will live in relationship with Krishna. Then next stage, we develop desire to attain Krishna. Then third one is work for Krishna. We'll come to the stage of devotional service. By working for Krishna, slowly we'll be attracted more and more, and we'll go to that stage. And then renunciation, cultivation of knowledge and meditation. Result is purification, peace, and gradual elevation. The lowest stage. That's the lowest stage, indirect stage. Okay, these are indirect stages. Qualities that endears one to Krishna from highest to lowest. See, these are the qualities a person, Krishna, he'll be really attracted to such a person. It is like, we have heard this, right? Do something so great that Krishna will look at you. He himself will pay attention. Like, look at this child, so great. It happens in a classroom also, right? Sometimes the child is so good, the teacher automatically, she pays attention. It's like the Krishna himself will be very happy to see these qualities manifest in us. So let's see what are those qualities. One who is not envious. Can someone read this? Hare Krishna. There's no verse, just the translation.
Mataji, may I?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This is Krishna saying this. And we see that also when Sudama, such a devotee, will not ask anything from Krishna. And any circumstance is happy, he will never be disturbed. Whether he has wealth, he does not have health, somebody is praising him, somebody is criticizing him, doesn't make any difference. His only duty is to please Krishna. He's living in that kind of a platform. So he's totally non-envious. See what all this mentioned here. So if somebody is decorated with these qualities, Prabhupada says, this is real decoration. These qualities will shine through, and that such a person will actually glow. This external beauty is not eternal, but a person who is decorated with these qualities, we can say that he's really made progress in Krishna consciousness. He's really making progress. And this is Sanatan Goswami. And then in Sudama's case also, he did not want anything. He was such a pure devotee. He just went there because his wife said, go to Krishna. But then Krishna knows his heart. It was that's such an amazing pastime. In Sanatana Goswami's case also, what happens? There is this person who comes to him, a Brahmana. He approaches him. He says, I heard you have something precious. Give it to me. So that's a long story. I'm cutting it short. So he gives him, he says something is fallen in my garbage pile. You can take it. He goes there. He finds the touchstone, which can turn anything into gold simply by contact. So he'll take that, and then he'll be walking. And then after going home and discussing with wife and everything, he'll wonder, like, it's just it's a doubt. He'll think, if this such a precious thing was in the garbage pile, what more precious thing does he have? Imagine if this is thrown there, probably he has something greater than this. So he'll go back and say, can you give me something greater than this? He'll say, throw this away in the river and come, in the water, and come. Then he'll give him Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because Akinchana means someone who cannot give anything material. He has nothing to give materially. Prabhupada also, what has he given us? He's given us Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He's actually shown us that, we all are spiritual beings. We belong in the spiritual world. We are here because of our contamination and all these anarthas and all these other things we have done, and our material desires and tendency to lord over material nature. All this, is what he's giving us is very Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is very, very potent. So a Mahatma or a devotee will have nothing material to give anyone. But what he's doing is taking us to another platform where we are completely purified, and Krishna takes control. There won't be any lack of anything. He takes care of everything. There's no need to worry at all. So a person lives in that consciousness. When he enters his house, one day I was hearing the senior devotees class, they were saying, when he enters the house, a pure devotee will think this is Krishna's house. So in his working, everything he thinks, he looks at it as Krishna's mercy. If any problems, we think it is a problem because any cut happens or something happens. We think, oh, look, some great problem, calamity happened. But that person will look at it in a different way. He'll think this is Krishna's plan. Like how in 11th chapter, Arjuna was thinking, whatever Krishna does is for the benefit of everyone. So it's like that. He will look at every situation in a very elevated way. So takes all sufferings as Krishna's kindness to avoid reaction. He takes it like that. And there are such beautiful examples like Prahalad Maharaj and so many examples in Bhagavatam. Prahalad was always in trouble. When we look at him, we feel like this boy is actually in pain. But actually, Prahalad was not, you see his face, he was always happy. He was not at all worried. He was completely dependent on the Lord. That's an extreme example, but still, he was thrown in fire, he was put among snakes, thrown from a cliff. What not is they gave poison, but still, that he was not at all worried. He knew the Lord is in control. I'm just a spiritual spark. And then when his father asked him, why are you, always offering obeisances to my enemy? He said, oh, king of demons, your enemy is your mind. And he says, whatever opulence you have, it's because of him. He says that. Because we think we own everything, right? Whatever is mine, mine. But actually, everything is coming from Krishna. The nature, everything's coming from nature. All the minerals, whatever we are using in the industry, the raw materials are coming from nature. And we did not create anything at all. We did not create the sun. We did not create the sand or mud or mountains. Nothing. So a devotee knows this completely, is in that um, consciousness. So here, he's Adveshta, non-envious, kind to everyone, even to his enemy. Like that day we were talking about Nityananda Prabhuji, who got hurt on his head. And, he did not want, like, let me take revenge. That was not his attitude. They were all fallen souls, Jagai and Madai, but he actually purified them also. We know the past time. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to appear there and all. Considers all reactions as a result of one's past misdeeds. We have knowingly or unknowingly committed so many sins. Probably we didn't know, out of ignorance we have committed sins, or purposely we have done whatever, we don't remember. Because the moment we give up the body, our memory, no memory loss. We don't remember what happened in the previous birth. So the reactions will come, Kuta, Bija, Prarabdha, Prarabdha, all this, it's going to happen. So the devotee knows if something manifests, it's saying, oh, it is because of something that has happened before this. And Mataji is giving a very nice example. Like when somebody is watching a movie and it's like 1 hour is over and suddenly there's violence is going on, something's going on, somebody comes and watches that, say, what are you watching? Oh my God, there is violence, there is blood, there is this, that. Then this person will say, no, you don't know what happened before this. I have been watching for like more than 1 hour. So I know what is happening. I know the whole picture. It's like that. So we can't pick 5 minutes of a person's life and say that person is suffering or why this person has opulence. It's all complete, like, this is all results of hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes. And only Krishna consciousness can purify. The moment we take Krishna's shelter, all our sins they're diminished. They're just gone. Because the spiritual master actually, it is like a rebirth. When you take initiation, they say it is like a rebirth. So takes distress as the Lord's mercy. I deserve much more. Like Haridas Thakur was beaten up in the marketplace because he's born in a Mohammedan family, and now he was actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disciple. So these Muslims sometimes did not treat him properly, but in spite of that, he did not retaliate. Santushtaha, satisfied, whatever comes, whether he gets 1 meal a day, 2 meal a day, whatever it is, he's just happy. By the Lord's grace, does not over endeavor to achieve something. He puts in his efforts. Prabhupada also, you can see how much patience, like how many years it took for him to, achieve his his spiritual master's orders. It took time, but he did not give up at all. He was so determined. So it's like that. Nirmamo, no sense of proprietorship. See, for in this world, we do have, this is my house, that is, everything. We have a name, we have some bodily designations, everything. But internally, we should have this consciousness. Nothing is mine. So devotee does not attach much importance to the pains and troubles of the body, free from false ego, equipoised in happiness and distress. Dhrida nischaya, tolerant, never disturbed by any circumstance. Yato Atma. Even we have Ambarish Maharaj for as an example. When Durvasa Muni was, he created a demon to destroy him. And the Ambarish Maharaj did not even retaliate. He was focusing on Krishna. His consciousness was completely absorbed in Krishna. And then we know what happened. The Sudarshana Chakra took care of everything. That started chasing him. So for Krishna, his devotees are very, very important. It is like, you don't hurt my child. It's like that. So he is very, very caring. He's very merciful. And then there is also this example of, I was hearing this in one of the lectures, somebody was saying, there was this Brahmana, it seems he was walking, he was plucking some leaves and all, and leaves and twigs, and he had some work to do. So he was doing that. And then what happened? He was supposed to die by a snake bite. So by mistake, he had plucked some tulsi also, and is carrying tulsi with him. So, the snake did not bite him because he was carrying tulsi. Tulsi is the Lord's devotee, and the Lord of Death, Yama. He when it is a Vaishnava, we know Ajamila's pastime. How just by saying Narayana, Narayana, Vishnu Dutas arrived. Like the Tulsi was there, and she was like completely protecting him. So like that, this devotional service is very potent. Yeto, Yeta Atma, self-controlled, completely perfect mystic, because complete fixed in instructions of spiritual master. So it's very important. Mai arpita mano buddhir. So a person who is following the orders of the spiritual master has nothing to worry, because then everything is perfect. Life becomes perfect. So thought process of a devotee in a distressful condition. What is the thought process? He thinks that is the Lord's mercy upon him. How this is Lord's mercy? He thinks, thanks to my past misdeeds, I should suffer far, far greater than I am suffering now. By Lord's mercy, I'm not getting all the punishment I'm due, just getting a little. It is like something big was supposed to happen, and you just got a pinprick. It's like that. He thinks this person is acting as my enemy due to my own past mistakes. So it is better to suffer than to protest. Instrument of my karma. What is the result of thinking this way? Is always calm, quiet, patient, despite many distressful conditions. Nor is he envious of anyone or disturbed by their behavior or become his enemy. He becomes eligible for liberation. Mataji, can you recite this one, Mataji? 10.14.8. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tatate nukampam so samix samano bunjana ivatma kratam vipakam hridavaga vapurbhira viddadhana namasate jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bhaka. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you obeisance, respectful obeisance with his heart, words, and body is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This is from Bhagavatam 10th canto. So he's saying, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past mistakes, offering you obeisances with his heart, words, and body, kaya, vacha, manasa, surely eligible for liberation. Okay. Mataji, please recite this one, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yasmano dvijate loko, loko no dvijate yaha. हर्षमर्ष भयो द्वैगैर मुक्तो यः सर्च मे प्रियः. He for whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anxiety, who is steady in happiness and distress, is very dear to me. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So more qualifications of a devotee are being discussed here. The more and more. If somebody really has all these qualities in them, we can actually understand that person is a very pure devotee of the Lord. See here, there's another example of Chitraketu. He was not at all disturbed when Mother Parvati actually cursed him. Because, Chitraketu actually received the body of a Asura, a demon. He was traveling by his airplane and he saw Shiva and Parvati, she was sitting on his lap, and Lord Shiva was actually speaking to all these Siddhas, Charanas, and all these great sages. And this, who sits like this while addressing? They did not have a problem. None of them had a problem. It's only Chitraketu, he laughed a little bit. Like he was like, it was quite funny. He was not actually making fun. That was not his intention to mock them or make fun. No. But he did laugh, like, how Lord Shiva was sitting. So Shiva also smiled. He did not take offense at all. But Mother Parvati said, no, you cannot do this. And then, you will not commit such an offense again and to any saintly person in the world. Because of that, you have to take my punishment. Then as soon as she said that, he got down, he, apologized. He did not say, I didn't do anything, no defense, nothing. Very humbly, lot of humility. He, apologized, accepted the punishment. And then Lord Shiva was very touched by his behavior. He said he says that actually in Bhagavatam, if you open and read in 6th canto, he's saying, look at the qualities of, devotees of Narayana, how humble they are. This is the way they are. They're so humble. They're so elevated. There's so much to learn from them. So great they are. Glorifies Chitraketu. He says all Krishna's devotees are really great. He says that. Prahlad Maharaj not get affected by others at all. Because devotee is always engrossed in Krishna consciousness. He is satisfying the Lord and nobody else. So that's his only goal. He doesn't bother who says what. Material circumstances cannot move him, not disturbed by anyone. Such a stage is obtained by Lord's grace. Does not affect others. No one is put into anxiety, difficulty, fearfulness, or dissatisfaction by such a devotee because he is kind to everyone. Prahlad Maharaj was actually, when you read that canto, we actually did that once. We were reading every day 8 to 8:40. We were reading Prahlad Maharaj first time from Bhagavatam. In that, the dialogues and everything, if you read one verse at a time, we can't really understand how a 5-year-old is speaking so much philosophy. He knows everything. He really was a great devotee of the Lord, right? We know from his womb only, mother's womb only, he knew everything about the Lord. And then after Narsimhadev actually tears open his father's intestines and everything, and then he goes and offers obeisances. He says also, when Brahma and all, they say, go offer obeisances to Narsimhadev. He says, what qualification do I have? I'm born in a family of demons. He says that because of him, Narsimhadev appeared. None of us have that qualification. But he says, what qualification do I have? Can I offer obeisances to him? Because my father is a demon. He speaks like that. And then when Narsimhadev says, please tell me what I can do for you. I want to give you something, ask for some boon. He says, can you forgive my father? His father tried to kill him every day. And look at his heart. It's so soft. We can't really understand who can really forgive such a person. Not so easily, right? In this world, somebody said something. Next day, that person is not looking at that person. There's so much you can see enmity, jealousy, envious. everything. Within the family, siblings fight for so many reasons. And this Prahlad, he says, forgive my father and give him liberation. Can you do that? He actually is begging. And then Narsimdev is so touched by his, by what he's asking. He says, not just your father, so many generations are actually liberated. So beautiful. So that's a devotee. He'll never wish bad for anybody. Even if such a person has done something wrong for him, he may say, let this person become Krishna conscious too. That would be his prayer. I hope he gets purified one day. That's their consciousness. Mataji, recite this one, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anapekshah shuchirdaksha udasino gatavyatha sarvarambha parityagi yo madbhaktaha same priyaha. A devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and who does not strive for some result, is very dear to me. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So, again, this is Sudama. He is a devotee of the Lord. He will, is determined. He'll be so determined to chant the Lord's name and be his devotee no matter what. He will not see, they were actually in a very poverty-stricken conditions. But he was not worried, he was still the devotee of the Lord. He was not at all worried about anything. So whether it is um, he may acquire wealth or no, he will not be agitated because he is free from all bodily designations. I am this, I am that. No, he's just a soul who is serving the eternal Lord. He is an eternal soul serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the only goal of their life. So you can see how pure he was externally also, inwardly and outwardly. So this is just another example. This is Prahlad Maharaj again with this one. Yes, nice image. Mataji, please recite, Mataji. If anyone
Hare,
else also wants to recite, please try. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, you can go ahead. Nobody has raised their hand, so.
Hare Krishna. Yo na rushyati na dveshti na shochati na kankshati shrubha shrubha parityagi bhakti manyaha same priyaha. One who neither grasps pleasure or grief, who neither laments nor desire, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, is very dear to me. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. In all kind of situations, is completely transcendental, auspicious, inauspicious, sinful activity, whatever is happening. And he will take any kind of risk for the satisfaction of the Lord. So there's nothing good, bad, nothing when it comes to devotional service. We had this example of a surgeon performing surgery also. Right? It looks like violence when someone is cutting a body and doing something and stitching it back and all. It looks like violence, but actually it is something that is necessary. Just like Arjuna is going to fight this war, and so many people are going to die, and so much will happen, bloodshed and everything. But then that is also the Lord's plan. Like that, everything is the Lord's plan, and there is nothing auspicious or inauspicious. So a devotee knows about it. So another example, another image. That image is so beautiful. So basically, it shows Prabhuji also, whenever he talks about Prahlad Maharaj, he says, a devotee never laments. He'll not cry, oh, something happened to me. We. No crying. You will not see him crying for himself ever. Self-pity, no. He will not cry for himself. He is not at all lamenting. The moment somebody is in pain, lamenting, that means Maya has actually affected that person. That's all it means. It seems the devotee is actually is free from all that lamentation. Unaffected by material emotions. Neither rejoices nor grieves or material gain or loss. Neither laments nor desires. Not anxious to get a son or a disciple, not laments by not getting them. If something does not work out, fine. Just moves on. Like Prabhupada also, he tried. He did not give up at all. He was so determined. We don't see him if we read his Leelamrit also, we don't see him losing heart. He has to satisfy his guru's orders. That's all is his goal. He does not worry about anything else. Transcendental in face of all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful acts. Prepared to accept all kind of risk for Lord's satisfaction. Again, Prabhupada is the greatest example. We cannot plan to go to the next city without money in our pocket, without knowing where we will land, with whom, which house, what we're going to eat, which hotel, whatever. If nobody can plan like that, and he took such a big risk going to another country. Even going to another country in today's world, we plan so much. We get the visa, get it, so much is there. But I mean, so many years ago, he actually did this. It's something that we can't even understand. So he took a big risk. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of devotional service. Bhaktiman, devotee, the most essential quality from which all other qualities appear. Can someone read this? Hare Krishna. We almost reached the end of this chapter. We finished it off. Vinda Mataji, yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So a devotee remains patient, poised, is not looking for, is always transcendental to artificial fame and infamy. All this is not looking for honor. A person who's always like looking for honor. You go somewhere and this person did not respect me, or that person said, no, not looking for honor at all. Like Lord Shiva today also, that past time we have been discussing in Bhagavatam, how Daksha insults Lord Shiva and how Lord Shiva reciprocated it, how he responded to it, and how his complete demeanor was. So we can understand how elevated devotee is. Nothing bothers, and is always free from bad association. That is one thing. Whether a person praises him or defames him, doesn't make much difference. And one more thing Prabhupada writes is, devotee is actually a silent person. Silent means he does not speak nonsense. He will speak, but he will speak only matters related to, bhakti, Krishna, transcendental matters. He will not speak anything nonsense or mundane topics. So it's very important to learn to be silent. Prabhupada writes that in the Puppets. Unaffected by material emotions. Samashatrucha, mitrecha, equal to friends and enemies. Equipoised in dualities. Manapamanyo. Sangha vivarjita, always free from contaminating association. Aniketaha, does not care for any residence. Mauni, silence implies to speak only of essentials. Most essential speech is to speak of the Supreme Lord. Santushto ena kenachit. Satisfied, happy in all conditions, sometimes get palatable food and sometimes not. Sthiramati, fixed in determination and knowledge. Bhaktiman, always engaged in devotional service. Krishna consciousness and good qualifications. One who wants to be recognized as devotee should develop all good qualifications. So Krishna is mentioning what are those qualifications: non-enviousness, giving up bodily designations. All this is such a big list. No, we go and check all that. Humility, everything is there. Of course, one does not extraneously endeavor to acquire these qualifications, because we don't have to try very hard to acquire these qualifications, because the process of Krishna consciousness is that itself is purifying. It will take time. Sometimes you feel like this person, though in Krishna consciousness, may not have made progress, but actually the process is very purifying. It will happen. Devotional service automatically helps one develop good qualities. Non-devotees, atheists, they cannot have good qualities. One who is not a devotee has no good qualifications. again summary and then qualities that enter one to Krishna. Tatastha Lakshanam, ancillary. These qualities are not independent of bhakti. They automatically result from surrender to Krishna. Swarupa Lakshanam, essential. Bhaktiman devotee, the most essential quality from which all other qualities appear. If a person has developed bhakti for Krishna, everything else automatically, all other good qualities also manifest. Attitude towards oneself. Nirmama, free from sense of proprietorship, free from false ego, knows that I'm not the body. Like it's very easily he can share. A person, there is one more example of this king. There was some drought going on, there was famine, and then he had stopped eating because he wanted. These kings, they have some stock actually, because they know if something happens, they may have to distribute these grains and all to their subjects. So there were the palace was already giving out grains and stuff. They're donating to common people. But then there came a time when there was not much, and the king was not eating at all. He was not eating his meal. And the ministers were worried. What will happen to his health if he doesn't eat? He was eating once a day, and that also stopped. So many days he didn't eat. One day there was, after so many days, finally, I think it was like 40 days or something, there was some food and some water that they offered him. And at that time, he is actually greatest devotee of the Lord. That's why he cares for his subjects like that. So this Brahma and Shiva were watching. He thought, let us go and check him. So when he's about to take his meal, they appear. A dog appears, and then another person, Chandala, appears, and they all appear, and then they say, can we have something? Then first he gives off his food, and then he's about to drink water, and that also they want. So, and then when he's about to sacrifice that half a glass of water and everything he has, then they appear and say, they are just so touched. Then Vishnu himself says, first the Chandala will ask him, nobody even talks to me, nobody pays any respect. They don't even consider me as a human, and you are ready to give me your food. Then this king will say, I forget his name. It is there in one of the slides. He says, look, there is Vishnu in everybody's heart. So if Vishnu is within you, how can you not be special? He'll say that. He sees Krishna, Vishnu in every living being. So that was his greatness, and all these demigods understand, oh my God, how great he is. So he knows I'm not the body, free from false ego, then no sense of proprietorship, then Sarvaramba, Parityagi, free from all endeavors, dealing with other living entities, non-envious, kind to everyone, even to his enemy, equal to friends and enemies, Udasina, without cares, always free from contaminating association, silence. So much is given in here. Reaction, when things happen to him, how does he react? He's very tolerant. But when we read this, we feel like, okay, we understand everything. But when we actually go to the airport or railway station, and we meet a lot of people, we can see how restless they get. The traffic jam. Everybody's like honking, honking, honking. And if the line is getting longer, they just can't wait. They'll say somebody must have done something. Somebody's irritating me. We barely see that, right? So then we understand, these are the qualities that a person needs to build. And then we understand the importance of these qualities, why it is being stressed so many times. A devotee actually is like this. Anapeksha, neutral, pure, neither rejoices nor grieves or material gain or loss, neither laments nor desires, transcendental in face of all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, sinful acts, does not care for any residence. Does not care for any residence. What does this mean? These Goswamis, they used to sit under trees in Vrindavan. Sometimes they don't even be under the same tree because they don't want to get attached to the tree. They move from one tree to another. So they don't even care for where they are, how they are. They are just serving the Lord. They are the ones who have written such great scriptures. We are reading Nectar of Devotion and Nectar of Instructions. All this. These are all coming from these Goswamis who lived such a simple life. They were all millionaires who gave up everything, material opulence, and they took up this service. And if you ask them, they will say that they were the richest because they had Krishna with them. What is there that they lack? When Krishna is with them, what do they lack? Nothing. So dealings with the Lord. Even Prabhupada, he never says, I went through heart attack, I went through so much trouble, so much pain. Nothing, nothing, nothing. He doesn't say. He says, Krishna took care of me. He was providing me everything. He took care of me very nicely. He was getting his food. He was, whatever happened, beautifully it happened. So that is there, so positive, you know. Dealings with the Lord, determined, mind and intelligence fixed entirely on the Supreme Lord, engaged in devotional service, fixed. So, he who follows this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engages himself with faith, making me the supreme goal, is very, very dear to me. This is Bilvamangal Thakur. And whenever he's composed so many kirtans, and he was there for a very long time, you know, very long time. I think he passed 100 also. Such a long time, so many kirtans, and they say Krishna used to come and, you know, hear his kirtans. Very dear to him. So he reciprocates. So we reached the last slide. So we learned about the impersonal conception of the absolute truth. In the impersonal conception, what does one person do? He works without fruitive result. He meditates, cultivates knowledge. He tries to understand the spirit and matter in this way. And then what do devotees do? They directly take up to devotional service and follow the spiritual master's orders. Dearest of all is one who makes Krishna as the goal of his life. They follow this imperishable path of devotional service, with Krishna as the supreme goal of their life, completely engage themselves with faith. So a devotee, a pure devotee, this is what he does. So Krishna explained the progressive stages of bhakti, and he got his answer. Arjuna got his answer. Which is better, being attached to the personal form or attached to the impersonal form? Krishna says worshipping me in the personal form is better. And then these 6 chapters, middle 6 chapters were about, Krishna describes Bhakti Yoga in these 6 chapters. In the next 6 chapters, Krishna describes Jnana Yoga. So next chapter is nature, the enjoyer and consciousness. That is Kshetra Kshetrajna Yoga. We will do that in the next session. Let's stop this.